Hello, once again, my name is Tim Grady. I am from the Lawton Seventh-day Adventist Church, Lawton, Oklahoma, USA. Today, I would like to be talking about, do you really need a car? Do you really need a pickup truck to homestead, whichever? Also, looking for the people to get out of the cities on the flotillas, um, or the Great Loop idea, or the van life, or the different uh, ideas of minimalist living for the end times. What are you willing to do without? And can you do without? Okay, 21st fundamental principles belief of the Seventh-day Adventist Church is uh, stewardship. I like to call it frugality. It's just my way of thinking of it. Stewardship is a lot more than frugality. Okay, if you are living the way God intended you to live, debt free. I understand a lot of people have school debts and a lot of other debts and a lot of whatever. But if you go with the principles of uh, stewardship, frugality, whatever you want to call it, can you leave the cities with what you have right now? Okay, now you have time. But when the time closes and you got to leave the city, money's not going to be worth much. So now is the time to prepare. I'm just saying that. So now let's get on to the subject. Alternatives. Okay. Can you, your wife, and 3 kids, 4 kids, if you have a kid getting old enough that can ride some sort of e-bike, different states have different laws on that. I'm just saying, do your homework, and I'm starting you out on the way of thinking. Okay, here is a site, average cost of motorcycle insurance in 2025. We're not going to deal with that. But what we are going to do is go through what they're talking about and how it is. Full coverage motorcycle insurance costs between $10 and $139 per month. Okay, what are you paying for car insurance? Now, if back to the scenario, you, your wife, and 3 kids, 3 little young ones, can you get on 2 scooters? And the answer is yes. 4 kids, if the kid is starting to be at 10 years old or so, they can get on the e-bikes or the e-scooters or whatever. Okay. Right now we're talking about insurance. I'll go through the different things. So the company, okay, so these are the different things that change the. Also, by the way, assume that insurance isn't going to pay out. This is just to stay legal. And remember, if you want to, God says, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's until it violates your religious liberty. Period. I got to repeat that over and over and over. We have got to be within the law as close as we can be. I cannot stress that enough. We have got to be within the law until it violates our religious liberty. We can lose some of our civil liberties. That is not a conscience question. It is our responsibility to follow the law until it interferes with our religious liberty. Period. Ellen White goes over that and over that and over that and over that many, 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 many times. So let's, now that we've had that put into it. We have got to follow the law. If you're going to run these motorcycles and e-bikes, you have got to have insurance on both, either or. Even though you're riding an e-bike, maintain a driver's license because you have to maintain the real ID. Think this through. Do your research and think it through. You have to follow the law, period, period, period. You've got to follow law until it stops your religious liberty. But transportation, wearing a helmet, even if your state doesn't require a helmet, wear a helmet. I'm looking at this from a former police officer's eyes and what I would see and say, okay, I'll let that person go. I'm not going to mess with them. Wait a second. This doesn't look right. Let me go find out what's wrong. That's the difference. You have to follow the law. Straightforward. Okay, plain and simple. Okay, back to what the factors are. The company you choose, where you live, your age, the type of bike you ride tend to have a big impact on your motorcycle insurance rates. Yeah, if you're running a big CBR 1000 or a whatever 1500 crotch rocket that does 300 miles an hour, literally, that's going to get the eyes of a policeman very quickly. Even if you're sitting still, that's going to get the eyes of a policeman. What you ride, what you wear, and that goes back to the 28 fundamental principles of the church, and I forgot the number, but it's Christian behavior. What we act, look, and be is very important. So I'm going back. Your insurance company, where you live, your age, your bike. And you can go look up. There are many of these sites from the insurance agencies, from the different groups of insurance company, whatever. Here's the different comparisons between the different different ways of doing it. This I didn't see. How much is your insurance for a motorcycle in my state? Here you are. So I'm just giving you, I'll try and throw all these links in the video description now that I can do that. And here it is, North Dakota, Iowa, South Dakota, Maine have the most affordable motorcycle insurance in the country. So now's the big kicker. E-bikes, maintain a driver's license. Your kids, maintain a state ID, maintain a real ID, state ID. So when they get pulled over, they get to hand them a state ID. So they're not trying to hide. They're not trying to look like illegals. They're not trying to look whatever. This is important to a law enforcement's mind. You gotta be legal. You gotta be legal. I cannot stress that enough. When you're doing this alternative living styles, whether it be van life, RV life, bus life, some form of floating flotilla sailboats that you've converted into motorboats and so on, or a barge with a but if you have transportation, now you can move out of the city, but you can still be close enough to the city to commute into the city and work for a while. Then you have the ability to be totally mobile, pick up when you see a danger, quit your job properly, or when it gets bad, immediately, and leave the city. Also, frugality. If you do not have huge living expenses. You can get your living expenses down to $1,000 a month. Do you really need to live in the city if you can reduce and live the minimalist lifestyle? Okay. I'm going to have to make another video on this later about the e-bikes, solar power, and all the other stuff that goes with it. Sorry. Okay, I can deal with that later. Back to the electric bikes. Got to have an ID. Get a headlight. I'm gonna have to make another video on recharging, the dangers, how to recharge in case your battery starts on fire. Do not charge it on the bike. How to get range. Different video. Right now I'm dealing with the legality and stay legal. Put a headlight on if you have to, but make sure it stays down to make sure it's not going to hit someone's eyes. When you turn your head, you're going to blind a driver. Think what the eyes of a policeman are going to be looking at you. Are you going to be aggravating another driver at night? Same rules as a motorcycle. Wear a helmet. Wear some sort of protective gear with elbow pads, bike or motorcycle. One of those zip-on jackets with the armor for the back, and you can get them in mesh. You put them on, and now when you fall down, you're not going to wear gloves. Wear gloves. So if you fall down, you're not going to damage your hands. Protect yourself. That is the second point that I want to make. Protect yourself. Wear appropriate shoes. Wear appropriate pants. If you have to, get one of those large put-on suits that you can ride in winter or summer. And when you fall down, you're not, you've got the plastic along the elbows, you've got the forearms protected, you've got the shoulder pads that come down over the shoulder. So when you fall down, you're protected. You have the chest rib protectors, front and you have the back protector. So if you're sliding around on your back, hopefully you don't get injured. Wear the motorcycle pants with the padding on the thighs and the shin protection. You can put them on over your pants, and they just clip on the back and take up the slack. Wear those. It makes a difference. Wear reflective. Make sure you're able to be seen on these bikes. Wear reflectors, put flags, put LED, flashing little LEDs. Whatever you've got to do to be safe, that's what you have to do. But you also have to be absolutely legal. And you have to look in your state what the laws are. And these laws are changing rapidly. Okay, let's get back to the Guide to Electric Bike Insurance and the USA, update for 2025. Okay, content and guide. What electric bike insurance covers? That's important. Choose the right electric bike insurance policy. That's important. Electric bike insurance from third-party provider. I don't understand exactly what they're saying on that because everything is a third-party provider unless you've got it from the manufacturer. And I don't know if they're covering warranties, but we'll get there. Major electric bike specialty insurance providers. Okay. And many and different types of insurance. So let's just start getting down into these. This guide is designed to navigate you through the landscape of electric bike insurance in the United States. Again, I'm sorry I'm doing this from the United States, but a lot of this is going to apply in other countries. Let's just go down here to what electric bike insurance covers. Electric bikes, given their value and their technology they incorporate, can be significant investments. Yeah. If you want a good bike and you're going to get one that's actually going to stand up, you're looking at $2,000 to $3,000. You can't get one of the $400 or $800 and expect it to stand up and be. And the lower the price, usually, not always, is a higher risk for fire in the charging the batteries. Okay, so the breakdown. Theft. Make sure that you are covered for theft of your electric bike. This is also the same stuff that applies to the scooters and the whatever you've got. For your electric bike, when you are out or where it's in storage. Accident damage. I mean, when these things are $3,000 and $4,000. Advantages and disadvantages, we'll talk in another video. Accident damage. Invest in a policy that covers extensive accident, including to any custom parts or accessories that you might have. I can't stress that enough. I have a friend that runs a bike shop, and you get a $3,000 bike and put $2,000. Someone hits you, you have to be able to prove to get your money back, to get the full $5,000 back. Yeah. Personal accident coverage. If you're injured while riding, insurance in some cases can provide. Don't count on it on any insurance. That's what I learned when I got in a bad car wreck a couple of years ago. Lady didn't have insurance. My insurance company picked up and paid out, but the hospitals wouldn't accept it, so I had to prove other insurance, and it's a hassle and a nightmare. Just don't count on the insurance, but you legally have to have it. So you are showing that you are doing the right thing when a police officer stops you. That's what this is all about. It comes out to Christian behavior in the 28 fundamental beliefs. It also comes to the 21st fundamental belief on stewardship. Choosing the right electric bike insurance policy. Like I said, I'll put this link in the so we're just going to go through this pretty quick. Otherwise, it's going to be a long, boring video. Electric bike insurance from a third party. Let's find out what that is. Pros: specialized coverage. Third-party bike insurance offers policies. Here, I'll just let the reader read it. Oh, I left it on my speed. Sorry, I'll have to let that down.
Specialized coverage. Third-party e-bike insurers offer policies tailored to the specific risks and needs associated with e-bike ownership, such as theft while away from home.
Okay, why is it not starting? Let's start this over. Sorry about that. Why is this not working?
Specialized coverage. Third-party e-bike insurers offer policies tailored to the specific risks and needs associated with e-bike ownership, such as theft while away from home, accidental damage, and liability coverage for accidents caused while riding. Higher coverage limits. These policies often provide higher coverage limits suitable for expensive e-bikes, ensuring that the full value of your bike is protected. Customizable policies. You can usually customize your policy with add-ons like roadside assistance, worldwide coverage, and coverage for competitions or events, depending on your needs. Dedicated support. Specialized insurers may offer more knowledgeable support for claims related to e-bikes, given their focus on this type of insurance.
Okay, now I know a third party. It's just a standard insurance company that offers specialized coverage. Cons. Potentially higher cost. Maybe it'll pay out better. Maybe it's worth it. If it's only a little bit, definitely worth it. Separate policy management. Managing an additional insurance policy can be more cumbersome than having a single. Yes, I agree with that. having, oh, yes. Since they're talking about umbrella coverage or all of that, the specific, yes, I totally agree that having a specific e-bike and not, but since we're talking about not living in a home, you won't have the ability to have umbrella policies and all the rest of it. And now we're getting down into the different people that cover it. These are some of it. Again, I'll throw the link into the and remember, if you're having an electric bike, make sure you get one that you can get spare batteries easily for, or build a battery for, because that's the other thing. If you only have, it says it has 20-mile range when it's new. When it gets older, it's only going to have 15-mile range, and eventually less and less. So there's a lot of strategies to talk about in e-bikes. So let's go on. We've covered insurance. We've covered on the cost. Get a quality. Buy once, cry once. And I'm going to be talking about that later. When like the putting the batteries in the metal containers, so if they do start on fire, you're not going to burn down everything, burn down the forest, burn down the world, whatever. So now I'm going to go into the best. That's not the best. This is right here. This is the most produced motorcycle in the world to date. The Groms and the Groms and the Ice Bears, I should say the knockoffs of the Groms, the Ice Bear knockoffs of the Ruckus and the Grom and others. This is the bike if you're going to carry you and 2 kids. I'm talking if you have a younger kid under 5 or 6 years old, depending on their size and weight. Let's go to a side view here. See this? It's that big plus. Here, let's hit the plus and see what it does. Hey, here we are. Right here, you can put a child carrier seat legally. Look in your state. Most states, it is legal still to do so. You can put a child carrier here. It says if their feet and the head, again, the child will have to wear a child's helmet. But you can put a child carrier here, and you can put a child's seat here, or if they're old enough, you can put an adult seat pad here, and they can sit here, and you can put the buddy pegs in here. So bicycles, number of passengers, and motorcycles are very similar rules. Number of pegs. So in other words, when you have to have a place when you're riding to put your feet safely, so it will not get into the gears, the spokes, the chain, whatever the moving parts are, that you can have a place to keep your feet. Okay, and they're usually called buddy pegs. Now, an older kid can sit here. You can make a seat that sits here, and you can put a set of pegs here. So if they're sitting here and using the pegs here, okay, and they're between your legs, that is legal in most states because they have a helmet, they're protected inside, and if you put the buddy pegs on here, that's legal. Yes, you can do that. So you put kid, a trailer, and you can go into town, get what you need. If you and your wife are needing to go into town. Now, these bikes from Honda And some of even the third party or knockoffs are doing the same thing. These are fuel injected. These are the same quality, not carbureted. Hit the starter, boom, just like an automobile and go. Okay. So yes, you can ride a trailer. Yeah, you can make a pad that sits in here. So they have a nice back pad and they can sit here. And that's probably a child under 7 years old again. So if they're under 3 to 5, you could probably get them facing you, and we're like a bicycle one that's in where their feet are in. But if they're older, they will have to sit here in front of you and have the buddy pegs here so they're not getting on the exhaust. This bike is amazing. And there is a reason why there are more of this bike sold in the world than any other bike. And you go in third world, you see families on these. You go to the Philippines, you're going to see 6, 8 people on these. And they're going to put outriggers. Not legal here in the United States, but it is legal there. And that is the advantage. And let's go up here. You're looking at $4,500 for one of these delivered without any major options. Okay. And if you have 2 of them, that's $9,000. Now, do you need this? No. But this is dead nuts reliable. It is. I don't care if it's 40 below. You hit that starter. Now, I don't know if they still have Kickstarters, but you can get a Kickstarter. Yes, they still have a Kickstarter. Let's go back to that picture we looked at earlier. Okay. Let's go back to that picture we looked at. Yep, it has a Kickstarter on it. I've got one. Where is that picture? Oh well, whatever. It is. Yep, it's got a Kickstarter right there. So even if your battery is not good, you can still kickstart it and get going. It's not good to run them without a battery because the battery acts as a capacitor. So even if the battery is low charge, you can charge it up while you're running. Amazing motorcycles. Oh, don't. This one, yeah, it's less expensive. It's like $400 to $600 less expensive. But there are knockoffs of these you can buy. Pretty close to as reliable, but they'll have a carburetor. They won't self-adjust for altitude. They won't do all the things that this bike does. But here's one of the ice bears. You can buy these motors in them. You can buy these motors. In fact, let's look it up. What is it? What are those called? GY6. GY6 150 cc engine. Let's see what it costs to replace that. I used to know what they would cost. You can get big bore kits. You can the Ice Bear are one of the better. There are other better than Ice Bear. So let's go here. I used to look on eBay. There used to be delivered to your door. You could probably get one for $500. And that's complete kit. Oh, it's got this, it's got everything. It's got the CDI, it's got the voltage regulator, it has the lock starter. Um, I forgot. Oh, so it has condenser, it has the starter relay, it has a carburetor, it has full brake, so you can put whatever wheel you need on it. There you are. Can you replace an engine transmission in a car for $500? No. Can you even get someone to look at it and do minor repairs to it? No. If you have basic wrench turning abilities, this is the way to go. You can get these knockoff carburetors. You can get the parts for these GY6s. You can even get an EFI kit. Let's see what an Electromotives doesn't do them, but there are EFI kits out there, and you can turn it to EFI and have the similar reliability start. Rolling wrench. You want to know a lot? You want to know about these? He's the one. He's the one that's done a lot of research on these. He's been in this for 30 years, or close to, if not close to 30 years. He's designed and he's got the best one. So you want performance parts and you know you're not getting ripped off by false performance parts, go to someone like him or another. We'll build GY6 full auto tune EFI system. He has the best. I've been out of it for about 4 years, but even with the little bit that I've looked at it, he's the best. He's keeping up with the industry. He's not the least expensive. Okay, here's the breakdown of all the parts that come in the package. He's the one I would go with if I was buying parts. He keeps his parts reasonable priced, but he is the top quality. I mean, you're not going to get this quality in the Chinese kits. Like I said, he's developed this kit over the last 30 years. It's expensive. So let's see what else we can find. I think they're with him. They're the same kit, I think. Oh, come on. Focus. There we go. Oh, no, this is not the EFI kit. That's why. And again, you can do a lot with your bike. Those ice and remember, if you go with the Groms and the other, you can get that kit also. It fits all of the GY6 and Honda Cubs and all that 150 to 250. I think his kit can even go up to a 350 cc. Electron Electromotives is back selling their kit. Small engine EFI 35. Yes, I've used this kit. I guess this kit is back on the market. I've installed a bunch of these. These are good kits, but they are definitely not. They are definitely not rolling wrench quality. Not at all. Will they work? Will they be reliable? Will it be one key hit, boom, done? Yes. Will it start? Yes. They were off the market for a while. And again, you're limited on the intake compared to the rolling wrench. The rolling wrench will give you better fuel economy, better performance. I'm not seeing, oh, U-cart. You have to look and put it in a shopping cart to see the price. And cart is empty. Okay, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to. I don't think these are back on the market. I think this is an old site. Yeah, those aren't on the market anymore. Let's see what eBay has to say. And I'm sorry I'm running this longer, but this is kind of when you're looking at that. Okay. Yes. So you're looking $89 for this, and you're looking at $298 plus delivery for. Does it have the injector? Yes, it has the injector. This is yeah, this one will work. It has the right bolt pattern, and it has the mass airflow sensor. It has the throttle position sensor, mass airflow sensor, injector, and that's the fuel pump, because it needs a fuel pump to run the injection. So it's all, so in other words, it comes in here and enters the fuel injector through that little fuel pump. And it's, I guess, a vacuum fuel pump to raise the pressure enough to run through the injector. Like I said, there are a lot of options on these things. Okay, I'm beating a dead horse. Yeah, there's a lot of GY6. Oh, that's a nice set. Yeah, I like turning wrenches. But that is what I'm trying to say is minimal living. Can you replace these? I haven't looked in a while, so let's see what they say. Let's see what they've got. They've also got, but the event. Oh, by the way, that little ruckus right there, you can put the same thing. You put the child seat down. Again, they have this is 150 cc. Again, right here, you can put the child seat. You can put the rack extension over here, and put a kid on. That's actually enough for 1.5 person. You got these. You've got these are nice. These are the old CT70, Trail 70, whatever you want to call them. These are the knockoffs of those. Good little bikes. Same engine as this right here. So it's this and this are the same engine. This is a good bike. See, there are other options out there. Let's see, shop all items. These are just the most popular. But they've got the Grom knockoffs in here. I know this one. These guys have been around a long time. There are other ones. Walmart has them, but watch out with Walmart because they don't have, when you get one of these e-bikes or you get one of these new bikes, you have to have someone that's actually going to help you. If you don't understand how a certificate of origin is turned into a title, plate, or tag, what are you going to call it, plate or tag, and you don't understand the process of going from certificate of origin to a tag, licensed or tagged with insurance, and that process, go to one of these people that have service to do so. Walmart does not supply service when you buy one of these bikes from them. You have to go to the original manufacturer and original retailer, because they're only, whatever. Go with someone that has a help to teach you. Is this one of the fat ones that has the 2-gallon tank. Oh, wow. That would be a good price if it is. Okay, because there's the thin body and there's the fat body. The thin body only has a 1-gallon tank, but the fat body has a 2-gallon tank. And it's easy to look at. And yes, I have lived this way in the past when I was younger. Okay, never mind. It's not there. I thought it would be easily there to see what the number of gallons. Number of gallons. By the way, if you look down here, it said 300 has a max weight capacity. In other words, what you can put on it, 312 pounds. So if I weigh 200 pounds, I can put on another 112-pound person. These things are pack mules. And it's 125 cc instead of the old 70 cc, 70 or 90 cc's. These are wow. Okay, sorry, I'm going off on rabbit holes. And again, there are many other choices. Scooters. These scooters, if they're the Ice Bear or the one of the better brands, and it appears he's selling the better brands. Again, there are many people that sell this RPS Hawk. Go online, see what they're doing. They have the 150. Yeah, here's the 50 cc one, and here's the. And there is a big difference between the frames. You can't just buy this 50 cc and throw in a 150 or bigger engine. I've seen people do that. It works out okay, but there are differences in these frames. But whatever, that's a different story. You can get trikes. Again, here's the Ice Bear, and this is a little 125. This is one of the lighter ones. This would be a good one for the barge or the. But again, this isn't a family bike because it is too small. It's not like this one where you can put the child seat facing forward or backwards, and putting a second child on the back seat. Yes, you can get on the 150 cc. The frame goes all the way out here, and you can get an extended seat and buddy pegs, and put people on this. Again, there are many different options out here. Oh, Susie, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay. That's what you have. Grandson's mowing the daughter's next door. Okay. Go there. So I guess I'll end it here. Like I said, there are a lot of other options. There are so many other options to these bikes. There's things to consider, cost. I can't see going with the best of Honda, but I could see getting one of these littler ones. One of these, I mean, these things are under 200 pounds. This is a good option, but you're not going to put a full family on this one because there's no room. There's no room up here to put a child seat. So you only have 2 people, but yes, you can pull a trailer with that. I've already covered that in past videos, and I'll probably talk about that in the videos. So with that said, I'll close it out here.